ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK is a unique visual novel, being developed by Liarsoft, a developer company known for its wildly artistic visuals and premises. I knew I was in for a totally rare and strange experience. And that was 100% true, because until today, I've never read a sci-fi mech visual novel with genetically engineered anthropomorphic animals, with 18+ content. Thanks to Shirabune for sending a review copy for me to check out, as well as helping me confirm that yes, animals can be dummy thick. In this world, humanity is endangered by a giant rose in space, and for the past 3 centuries, the space rose has launched its thorns, destroyed cities in the process, and leaving behind infected monsters. You may ask, how do you fight against this overgrown space weed? The only way anime knows how: mechs. And so we follow our ambitious lead character Miria as she dreams of becoming a battle pilot. It should have stayed a dream, because after her valiant attempts to fight a hostile threat, she soon finds herself basically shipwrecked in the remains of a destroyed city on Earth, with the pilot who shot her down. Now, without mincing words, Miria's infuriatingly very dumb. Just because you can pilot a mech doesn't mean you should pilot the mech. In many ways, she really is a child, naive of the harsh ways of the world, obediently following orders from practically anyone, and making many wrong decisions. It's like watching an NPC attempt to fight against a super strong villain, only to end up getting slaughtered like a dog. She desperately needs someone to guide her on the right track. Enter Ichizo, a combat veteran who's a bit rough around the edges, but has those tiny bits of softness inside. It's the classic buddy duo dynamic. Add a couple of fights, way too many food scenes, and a third wheeling fox girl with a chainsaw in her hand, and you got yourself ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK's romance in a nutshell. Ichizo sure did a 180 very quickly when it came to Miria, and vice versa, because despite the morally questionable start to their relationship and the questionable intelligence of the latter, the two are somehow fine with each other in the matter of minutes. ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK does hit those bickering couple events, fighting before tolerating and eventually accepting each other's differences, just in a very awkward, blunt, and hasty manner, much like the two of them. It's a story that needs more time, a relationship that needs more time to bake in the oven. Instead, we have the side dishes, aka the anthropomorphic animals. Now, I'm not against these fox-faced creatures or anthropomorphic animals. I was curious on how this level 3 race of people known as the Neo-Phoenix would live in this sci-fi world, and oh god, I was not prepared. They certainly took a darker approach for how the story was gonna treat them. Let's read off the list, shall we? Slavery, genetic experimentation, sexual power dynamics, half-breed genocide, all underneath the umbrella of being called humanity's new friends. They seriously had me questioning the ethics of this entire world. This is basically the darkest timeline where a furry was given too much money and power, all because his DeviantArt page went viral. Through these darker aspects, scenes involving those characters become very messy, extremely warped and complicated from a relationship standpoint, which ended up being the most interesting part of the visual novel for me. I could have done without the horny BDSM though. There's a lot of material that the visual novel dumps on you that can go a number of different ways, but just like the main romance, it also lacks in major development, because of the obvious reason why. Did I mention that this visual novel is only 10 hours long? There's a lot of potentially interesting ideas here in ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK. The ongoing battle between humanity and the space rose, the world relations between the militarized battleship and the lawless red zone area, and the creation of the Neo-Phoenix and that whole ordeal. I'm actually understating this, not just because Lunette exerts big Dami mommy vibes, but there's a lot to unpack with their race, their origins, their roles, and even their current society dynamics. Just fundamentally, the visual novel spreads itself too far with its ideas. It doesn't have enough written material to cover every topic in depth, and as such, plot details fall through the cracks and go unaddressed. Even with the short time span, the writing itself doesn't densely pack enough information to convey any deeper messages or meanings. There are sequels out for ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK, to which I encourage you to check out if you're interested in this world, but regarding ALPHA-NIGHTHAWK itself, it's not satisfactory for me personally. That said, if this premise is your type of thing, sci-fi action romance with a touch of 18+ anthropomorphic animal action, it might be worth your time. 2 out of 5 from me. If you're curious, you might want to check out this title over here. Thanks to everyone on Patreon for helping support me in covering visual novels. And if you'd like to be a part of that effort, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.